Imagine a civilization so advanced it defied the limits of the ancient world, a global superpower that commanded the seas and possessed technology far beyond its time. Then, in a single day and a night of catastrophe, it was erased from the face of the earth. No ruins, no survivors, just silence. Today, we're peeling back the layers of time to investigate the lost city of Atlantis and the terrifying evidence that suggests it was never just a legend. It's a story that has captivated dreamers and explorers for thousands of years. A tale of a magnificent civilization swallowed by the sea. Where does this legend come from? It all begins with the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. In his dialogues, he described an island nation beyond the Pillars of Hercules, a powerhouse of wealth and influence, unlike any other. He painted a picture of a utopia, a paradise on earth that met a sudden, catastrophic end. But was Atlantis a real place, or just a cautionary tale crafted by a brilliant mind? Join us as we journey back in time, sift through the legends, and explore the enduring mystery of the city beneath the waves. According to Plato's account, the story of Atlantis wasn't his own invention. He claimed it was a true story, passed down through generations, originating from an ancient Egyptian priest. The tale begins with the gods themselves, who divided the earth among them. The sea god Poseidon was given a great island, where he fell in love with a mortal woman named Cleo. To protect his beloved, Poseidon transformed the hill where she lived into an incredible fortress. He carved the land and sea into 5 concentric rings of water and land, creating a city that was both a marvel of engineering and an impenetrable stronghold. This was the birth of Atlantis. Poseidon and Cleito had 5 sets of twin sons, and the eldest, Atlas, was crowned the first king. It was from him that the island and the surrounding Atlantic Ocean took their names. Under the rule of Atlas and his descendants, Atlantis entered its golden age. Imagine a city shimmering with a mysterious metal called orichalcum, said to flash with the red light of fire. The temples were clad in silver, with pinnacles of gold that gleamed in the sun. The outer walls were coated in brass, the middle in tin, and the innermost wall, the one surrounding the central acropolis, shone with the fiery glow of orichalcum itself. The land was incredibly fertile, blessed with 2 harvests a year. Fresh water flowed from natural springs, both hot and cold, feeding lush gardens and elaborate bathhouses for royalty and commoners alike. The city's canals were not just for defense. They were bustling waterways, crowded with ships from all corners of the world, bringing in goods and carrying out Atlantean exports. The citizens were virtuous, wise, and lived in harmony, valuing wisdom and virtue above their immense wealth. They had everything: advanced technology, architectural genius, abundant resources, and a peaceful, prosperous society. For generations, Atlantis was a true paradise, a beacon of civilization. But, as with many great empires, paradise was not to last. With each passing generation, the divine blood of Poseidon that ran through the veins of the Atlantean rulers grew thinner, diluted by their mortal heritage. Slowly, insidiously, human greed and arrogance began to take root. The people of Atlantis, once noble in content, became consumed by ambition and a lust for power. They forgot the wisdom of their ancestors and began to value their gold and worldly possessions above all else. Their hearts turned from virtue to vice. They were no longer the benevolent rulers of a utopian island. They became a formidable military power, driven by an insatiable desire to conquer. They built a powerful navy, with over 1,000 warships and an army of immense size. Believing themselves to be invincible, the Atlanteans set their sights on the world beyond their shores. Their ambition knew no bounds, and they launched a massive campaign to enslave the nations of Europe and Africa. Their powerful forces swept across the lands, conquering all who stood in their way until they reached the shores of Athens. The Athenians, according to Plato, stood as the last bastion of freedom, bravely leading a coalition of Greeks against the seemingly unstoppable Atlantean war machine. Just as Atlantis stood on the precipice of total domination, the gods, who had watched the city's moral decay with growing dismay, decided to intervene. Zeus, the king of the gods, gathered the other deities to pass judgment on the corrupt civilization. They saw that the Atlanteans had lost their way completely, their divine nature overwhelmed by mortal folly and hubris. A punishment was decided upon, one that would be as swift and absolute as the Atlanteans' own ambition. In a single, terrifying day and night, the very foundations of the world seemed to crumble. Violent earthquakes shook the island, more powerful than anything ever experienced. The magnificent temples and palaces, once symbols of their glory, were torn apart and reduced to rubble. Then, the ocean itself rose up in fury. Colossal floods, monstrous tsunamis, crashed over the concentric rings of the city, washing away every trace of the once mighty civilization. The land buckled and broke, and in one final, cataclysmic event, the entire island of Atlantis, with all its people and its riches, was swallowed by the sea, vanishing beneath the waves forever. As Plato wrote, it became an impassable barrier of mud to voyagers sailing from hence to any part of the ocean. And so, the story ends. Or does it? In the wake of the cataclysm, Atlantis transformed from a historical account into a legend. For over 2 millennia, the tale has fueled the imaginations of scholars, explorers, and dreamers. Did Plato invent the story as a political allegory, a cautionary tale about the dangers of imperial pride and moral corruption, using a fictional Athens and Atlantis to make his point? Or was he recounting a distorted version of a real historical event? Perhaps the massive volcanic eruption on the island of Thera, now Santorini, which devastated the Minoan civilization around 1600 BC. The debate rages on. From the windswept coasts of Ireland to the sun-baked plains of Spain, from the Caribbean to Antarctica, countless locations have been proposed as the true site of Atlantis. Like satellite imaging and deep-sea exploration vehicles, it has opened new frontiers in the search. Explorers continue to scan the ocean floor, searching for unnaturally straight lines, right angles, or circular formations, any sign of a lost city hidden in the deep. To this day, no conclusive evidence has ever been found. The ocean still holds its secrets close. Atlantis remains an enduring mystery, a tantalizing what if that speaks to our fascination with lost worlds and golden ages. It is a symbol of the heights humanity can achieve and the terrifying speed at which it can all be lost. The search continues, driven by the hope that one day we might finally uncover the truth behind the legend of the lost city of Atlantis. What do you think? Was Atlantis a real place? Or is it just a powerful myth? Let us know your theories in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into one of history's most compelling mysteries. And if you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure, only here on Forgotten Clues.